Like many others, I've been waiting a really long time for Hytale. Actually, when the trailer for the game first dropped back in 2018, oh god. Anyways, I got featured on their first ever fan art showcase, which was super cool. You can actually still see it on their website. And now that the game is out in early access, I want to just draw even more from the game. So in this video, I'll be drawing 1 or 2 creatures from the first 3 zones of Hytale. And you'd think it makes perfectly logical sense to structure this video starting with Zone 1, working my way up, but nope, I'm not doing that because I decided to get this idea as I was already kind of neck deep into exploring, and so we'll be going in reverse order, starting with Zone 3. Zone 3 is home to many different creatures. I saw some owls, I saw some moose, and then I came across these guys, which I guess they're like goats, and when I looked it up, they're called mouflon? Mouflon? I don't know, when I see the word, it looks French to me, so I automatically want to go mouflon. But anyways, yeah, they're like little goats. Look at them. Look at that little guy. Ignore that bear in the background. I'm sure it's not going to be a problem. I think these guys would be the perfect creature to draw first, so that's what we're doing. So I'm just in Procreate, and I'm just kind of sketching these guys. I took some screenshots, and I'm just working off of those. I'm not trying to draw like exactly in like the Hytale style. I would say actually this is more on the realistic end. Like obviously I'm still using like kind of cubic features, especially for the head. I'm definitely just kind of doing my own thing. Also, my goal with this is that I also really want to focus on the painting and like fur rendering because I don't do that a lot. And like, if you've seen my other work, you know that I don't really paint. I just do like animation, like cell shading kind of look. So this is very, very different for me, very out of my comfort zone. But we're gonna do it anyways. And I think like seeing this now and knowing what I did in like for the final creature in zone 1, I definitely think I improved a lot. So I guess it was worth it. Now we're actually getting into the painting the fur bit. I started with shadows and like just kind of kept flipping back and forth between the shadow and then like the main tone, painting over top of one another and hoping that eventually turned into looking like fur. So yeah, there was no plan, no technique. I kind of just fumbled my way through and hope it eventually looked good, which I think I do for most things. I just looked at a lot of references. Like I looked at like real animals. I looked at obviously the references I took in game, and then I looked at artist references as well. Yeah, and then once I did all that, I did like my usual shading techniques, which is just adding multiply layers and overlays, soft light, that kind of stuff to make it look a little more like 3D, I guess, or like I don't know. Anyways, there's your mouflon. Traveling across the world, we're now in a completely different environment. Home to the typical kind of creatures you'd see in real life, we got warthogs and antelope and little lizards. There was also some giant bugs, but we're just gonna ignore those for now. Even though these are creatures that you can find in real life, I tried my best just to stick with the references that I got in game. So it might look a little wonky, but that's okay. It's just supposed to be fun. And the focus is on the painting, rendering, fur stuff, so anyways, I hope to do more Hytale type videos in the future because I think this game has a lot of potential to be used creatively, not just making nice builds within the game, but seeing how you can use the game to further your own art, make artwork out of it, stuff like that. I think making animations would be really cool. I actually originally wanted to make an animation for Hytale when the game first released, and that was before I went to animation school. So maybe now I can actually do it because I have graduated from an animation program. So could do that. But what do I think of Hytale so far in general as a game? Because right now there's just exploration mode, which is like survival, and I'm really enjoying it. At least the first little bit, first few weeks of it, I've really enjoyed it. I really like the atmosphere and the music and all the different structures that you can explore. It's very different to Minecraft. I haven't really tried out the creative mode features yet. There's like machinima tools, like camera stuff. I know you can like manipulate entities and building starts to become more like you're using Blender or like a 3D software, which is pretty cool. I think that has a lot of potential to be used for like, I don't know, maybe background assistance or I don't know, something like that. I know that there's also a big focus on modding and like adding your own models and your own stuff to the game. Haven't explored that really yet, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty easy. So I could also do that. Similar to my Minecraft video where I made weapons and brought them into Minecraft, I think I could try to do the same thing in Hytale. Anyways, look at these guys. I think I'm getting a little bit better at the rendering. At least from seeing this now, I feel like it does look a little more polished than the Zone 3 guy. And very finally, we have arrived back home to Zone 1, the Emerald Wilds. Again, lots of different creatures around. But the ones we'll be drawing be this weird looking bird and this grumpy looking guy. So the grumpy guy is called a Mosshorn, which I think is very fitting. It describes exactly what it is. I think it's so cool, the unique creatures that are designed for this game. Like these are just like two of the ones I've decided to draw, but really there are so many more that I kind of wish I did draw. But instead I kind of stuck to the more realistic creatures for the other zones, and I think that was mainly just because I wanted to practice like the fur rendering and I wanted to stick to like familiarity. But you know, it's always good to branch out here and there and see what you're capable of. So I think it'll be cool to see how I apply like the fur rendering techniques that I've been practicing onto a creature that doesn't exist in the real world. So I have no like mental library to figure out like how its fur is shaded. Also, by the time I got to these two guys, like these were obviously the last ones that I did, and I could tell, but like by the time I got to this point, I was I was good to go. Like it came naturally to me. It came really easy to like just immediately start sketching these guys, and like all the proportions and stuff, it just came together really well. It could be luck, but I do think that it was all of the other creatures that I did in the previous zones that kind of like warmed me up to then making these guys. And I'm just very happy that these guys are the last ones, the ones that are like uniquely to Hytale. I think you can definitely see an overall improvement from the first one and to the last one. I think I got a lot more comfortable with doing like the overpainting. You know, originally I started with the base colors underneath the sketch and then I would paint over top of it. I think I got more and more comfortable with that and just went in with more and more detail on this last one. I decided not to color the bird, mainly just because I was really tired by this point, and you know, the Mossthorn turned out so good. I wanted to end on a high. I didn't want to risk doing maybe a lesser job on the bird, but maybe I'll do that in my spare time. There's a lot of very, very cool creatures in the world of Hytale. If there was something else that you want me to do using Hytale or some other game, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya!